We caught up with Yves Jean here at the Muse Expo this year, and I thought it would be interesting to talk to him about the perspective of an independent recording artist. Yves, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
When you're starting out an album artistically, what are the most important things to keep in mind when you're making your record?
I put out about 4 records.
Okay.
4 records independently on my own, self-financed. The most recent one was a Kickstarter campaign. I put my first, I think, 20 grand in and then ran out of money, and then started the Kickstarter campaign and got my fans involved to put in the other $15,000. But yeah, everything with the exception of that, I think those first 3 records were pretty much self-financed and investments within myself, into my career, and in hopes. I don't think it was like in hopes of making the money back, but in hopes of reaching a larger audience. I think that's at the end of the day, and that's the beauty about being an independent artist, is that you don't have anyone breathing down your neck, as far as like beating down your neck for investments, money back, and no knock on the record companies or no knock on anyone that's investing, but you have a little bit more breathing room, so you can give away CDs or just do it because for the love, and you're in hopes of getting the audience to return the favor by spreading the word, and you'll make the money tenfold, may it be live recordings or merchandise or whatever, but being an independent artist all this time is great, because the thing that I love about being an independent artist is the fact that if I'm writing a song, I could have my thoughts and my ideas come there without anyone telling me. My biggest critic is, besides myself, is my fans. There's no one else shooting the ideas down. It's there, and that's a double-edged sword. Now, being non-independent, you have an immense amount of investments and money coming in, so your project reaches a larger audience. That's the trade-off that I guess you lose. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like doing this. You're at a snail's pace, 4 records in 14 years, but because it takes you 4 years to save up, and then about another year to be inspired and write songs, but yeah, and I've found ways, and I've listened to my music from from day one to now, up until yesterday. I'm still constantly writing. The stuff that I have that's going to come out on the 5th album, totally different from the stuff on the 4th record. A lot different from the stuff on the 1st record. There's, like I said, my first record was more experimental. This album right here is more condensed. Target audience.
How has your relationship with the A&R community been over the years?
It was rough the first time, because I would look at it as an opportunity when I first met someone in A&R, and I was like, oh my God, this is my only opportunity, so I got to do this, and I would just run at them and would go hard and follow up too much and email and call or write letters and give the CD, did you hear it yet? Did you hear it yet? And I just envision maybe they're driving home right now and they're listening to my album. No. Chances are, realistically, some intern's about to listen to it, or they're going to play Frisbee with it. They need it as a paperweight or a coaster. No one cares. What I've learned is, if you're doing things on your own, they'll eventually will follow, and it's almost like it bubbles up to a point where they can't resist, number one. That's just the one side. The other side is, when you do reach them, you get that golden opportunity to meet someone, you establish a relationship, but it's not over a period of, if you have the patience, it's not over a period of a couple weeks. We're talking a couple years. Because this cat that you talked to that was at Warner, his ass may not be back at Warner. But what you do is you still stay in touch with them. You're like, hey, I remember when you rejected my album back at Warner, and I see that you are in Universal right now, or you are in the startup label right now in the UK. Those go a long way. Because what happens is that journey, it's a journey within their lives, but it's also a journey within you. And they see the patience. Like, a fine example is a gentleman, I'm going to say his name, Jason Jordan. Fine example, Hollywood Records. awesome individual, great guy. Well, probably one of the most real people in the music industry. You know, he doesn't need to lie to you, doesn't need to waste your time. He doesn't have time to waste your time. So he'll tell you point blank. I remember the first time I talked to Jason Jordan, I sent him my album back in like '09 for like I think my third release. I said to him, I said, hey, would you like to check out my music? You know, I went through your database and did that. Sent him the music, got it. He listened to it and said, hey man, it's good music, not for us. I really appreciate everything you've done. Most people will go in the corner, fold, cry, go away, walk away. Kept in touch with him over the years. Hey, how's everything going? Blah, blah, blah. And I was genuine about it, you know, because I say I'm working on a new project. Hey, I have some shows in New York. I know that you didn't like the music, which you heard, but possibly you can see us live. You know, he couldn't come out to the events, but it was like one of those things where it was just far enough that I wasn't a pain in the ass. And so then one day, you know, I get an email from him saying, hey, I'm going through some trouble right now, you know, Hurricane Sandy, we have to evacuate the city. I'm here with my family and stuff like that. And Pittsburgh, are you still in Pittsburgh? And I'm just like, yeah, I am. We're tight, we're cool as heck. I mean, we hung out, like he hung out with my friends. Totally, the music became irrelevant at this point. I was so safe for him to hang out with me because it's not like, oh, this guy's going to be so didactic with his music and just constantly barrage me. So I'm sure when I hang out with him, he's going to be like, listen to my music, listen to my music, listen to my music. No, I think the first thing we listened to was like reggae music, like old school, like the Congos, like dub reggae, like for like 4 hours. And eventually it was like, hey, let me check out your music. I'm like, okay. You know, really? You want to put a downer on this? You know, it was one of those things. And that was the greatest thing. And that's a fine example of that relationship, you know, of dealing with the music industry. It's like, it's just patience. It's like, this is important. You got to treat this like a gem, you know, like a diamond. It's your diamond, cliche as it may sound. It's a diamond in your rough. So what you do with that coal, you don't expect it to be the big shiny diamond overnight. It takes time, and it takes that pressure, and it takes that cultivating, and just constantly being around, but not to a point you're being annoying. And it's like, but it has nothing to do with music. That's in the business world. You know, if you're selling medical supplies, if you're pharmaceutical sales, if you're selling real estate, you know, there's nothing worse than somebody saying, hey, you're going to get the house, 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 you're going to get the house. That's going to be annoying. You're going to be like, you know what? Not only am I not going to get the house, I don't even want to deal with you. And that's what it is. You have to apply it. You're selling something. It's unfortunate, and it takes patience. And these people come around. It's like a relationship. The girl doesn't like you the first time. Maybe a year and a half from now, you know, you work out more, maybe get a new job, she'll be calling you, you know, and you know, it's the building process, and that's what I've learned.
For your various work and recordings, how important has social media been to you?
Well, I put out an album in the last year, and to be honest with you, I haven't really done much with it because financially it takes a lot of your time to do that. However, my Twitter following exploded. Social networking, I actually harnessed the skill and got that going. My YouTube following exploded. So I'm engaging in a worldwide audience, and I'm actually having A&R Worldwide help me with my promotions to expand it to a global audience. So, you know, and these guys, obviously, they have an incredible reputation. So for them to take me on as an artist for this particular project would be just is great. So. Right now, I have a campaign for radio, if that's still around. I have a blogging, social networking continuing, and I'm hoping to do some more touring, you know, and reaching out to markets. Now, I've got to figure out with this campaign where my markets are going to be, because I just don't want to, once again, you know, getting the goal in mind. I'm just not going to just go out there and say, all right, I'm just going to start touring the Midwest and down south or whatever. But by having a team around me, because like I said, I've been so independent for a long time. You know, I've done other things on my own. I've booked my own shows. I've recorded my own music. I've been my own A&R person. I've been my own lawyer at times. That's got me in trouble a few times. But it's going to be great to have a team behind you and people pushing behind you and believing your stuff and saying, hey, listen, it's like going to a fight. You go by yourself, everyone's not going to take you serious and probably beat your ass. But if you go with 5 other guys that's your size, they're going to start backing away and they're going to start saying, let's compromise and let's talk. You know, and that's what I'm doing, is I'm coming in with a team of people. And that's what's going to happen, I hope, you know.
What final pieces of advice would you have for any artist who is starting out their career now?
I would say really, really hone your skills in songwriting. That's so key. Don't follow trends. Like, I mean, there's so many people, because that's such an influence on your music. I mean, please, by all means, be influenced by music.